So at the gym pretty early today. It's actually quite packed, so in any case, it is what it is. Um, for the first exercise of today's workout, I'm gonna do cannonball chest presses and superset them with like a landmine thing. And I think at least for the beginning of the workout, that's kind of going to be theme is some landmine exercise, some kettlebell exercise. Um, right now, I'm thinking more push focused, but that might change later. So, as I was mentioning, doing single arm cannonball chest presses with the kettlebell. The single arm nature and the cannonball grip adds an instability component which forces the chest and all the pressing muscles to work a lot harder. Then I'm also focusing on full range of motion, not stopping at 90-degree, letting my chest come down and stretch all the way. Going for 7 each side of those. I really like performing single arm movements to make sure that both sides are symmetrical in size and strength. I also like using instability because most real world movements are pretty unstable. And I think it's good to have your stabilizer strong so that when like regular heavy weights come about, you don't have to like work too hard to hold them or anything like that. That then results in stronger lifts overall. Supersetting that with landmine side to side swings looks like this. So yeah, that's what I'm doing for now. 7 presses, 7 swings.
So looks like I had some audio trouble, and the audio didn't come out all right. So I'm just going to commentate over what I'm doing. So after the first superset, decided on doing landmine hack squats. Um, Adding an extra challenge to this by trying to like get fully seated on the floor before pressing back up. Um, just a mobility challenge, and because of the deeper knee bend that it takes in order to get into that position, there is a much better stretch of the quads, and I guess more recruitment of the muscles overall. Also, getting strong, moving in that entire range of motion, uh, which then makes it easier to get low and stay like that when there is no resistance involved. So, pretty much just improving mobility is what uh, the outcome is of going that deep. Um, with the hack squats, I really like it for targeting my quads. And it allows me to hit the legs in a range of motion that A lot of other exercises don't. Anyway, supersetting that with kettlebell overhead lunges. So, holding the kettlebell in a cannonball grip and doing a shoulder press and lunging at the same time. Uh, and then going for 5 lunges each leg with each going for 5 shoulder presses and 5 lunges each leg, and then switching hands. So the benefits of doing a cannonball grip is that it's more unstable than using a dumbbell, and this forces a lot of stabilizers in your shoulders to get activated that otherwise it doesn't get recruited and doesn't get trained as often if you do just regular shoulder presses or regular barbell presses. Adding lunges to it makes it a full body movement, which in turn uh, increases growth response. Um, and Also, it forces my core to work really hard to compensate for the offset load. Also, because my arms are outstretched, like my center of balance and stuff is going to be uh, way different than if I didn't have it outstretched and was like doing just a stable lunge. So there's a lot of compensation mechanisms that happen within the body in order to make the movement possible when there is this offset. And so just training the muscles to be ready for that kind of stuff so that if ever encountered, I don't get injured. So after a couple of sets of that, I decided to push the weight on the hack squats. I usually am not able to push the weight on the hack squats because it takes some effort to lift it off the floor and put it on my shoulder. However, I figured that if I could use the bench or that box or whatever that contraption is, in order to place the barbell on or the landmine on, it would make it much easier to get into this like that barbell on the shoulder position. And yeah, so pretty much that was my so once I figured that out, I started pushing the weight a little. And I think in this set, I'm doing, I think that's 345s. I don't remember exactly because I did one set with the 25-pound plate too. And well, I guess we'll see here in a second. Yeah, that's a 45. Okay. Yeah, so I did, um, I guess, this for 5 reps each side, which is a personal best for me, but I think I can go heavier. The reason I don't go heavier though is it takes a lot of effort to get into this position, and well, sometimes I still feel a little awkward and uneasy getting into this position, and I don't want to take the risk of hurting myself just to push the weight by that much. I think I get enough gains by staying in the 10 rep range, and I don't necessarily need to explore 6 and below right now on this movement at least. Like, if I'm going to explore that sort of effort, I'd rather do it on a safer movement or a movement on which that I don't feel like I'll get injured that quick. So anyway, for the next exercise, I decided to do staggered squats on the landmine, and this time facing forward. So I believe I have the same weight on, but the staggered stance now forces a lot more core activation, um, forces each leg to contract a little differently in order to make the um, movement take place. Really good for the quads, really good for the core. I've noticed personally a lot of like gains from doing this. Another thing that I'm doing is staying on my toes the whole way through. So this makes sure that my toes are stretched. Um, so there are muscles in your toes that don't get worked. Usually, if you don't stay on your toes, like the only real time that most people stay on their toes is maybe if you do jump rope or do calf raises a lot. But it's good to stay on your toes when you're doing squats and stuff as well. And by staying on your toes, I mean not with something to elevate your heels. I mean actually staying on your toes while performing the movement. After that, I went into some combination shoulder stability and quad work. Similar to a sissy squat, if you know what that is. It's like a bend at the knee, but doing it on the landmine. Um, the landmine doesn't require you to like bend backwards like a regular sissy squat since it's pushing you down. I don't know if that makes sense. Pretty much what I'm doing is just staying on my toes and bending my knee and having my butt touch my heels. This is pretty much exclusively a knee or like a bend at the knee and I guess contraction at the knee. So it's like a very quad isolated movement, and I'm also able to incorporate shoulder stability into this, which makes it a full body movement involving my core and all of that. But getting good at stuff like this has helped me uh, just feel stronger in general at the gym. Since I've become so comfortable handling and different kinds of resistances in different kinds of awkward positions very comfortably and perform awkward movements through full ranges of motion, starting off at like very light weights and then slowly progressing over time. I've noticed that uh, doing this has now made me stronger at regular lifts, or what would be considered regular lifts, and I don't feel so like scared about getting injured. I feel a lot more comfortable and confident handling different kinds of weight. Anyway, supersetted that with this kettlebell juggling complex, uh, doing a swing flip into an under the leg clean into the opposing hand and doing finishing off with the shoulder press. Doing 2 reps of the complex on each hand, or on each side, and yeah, using a 60-pound kettlebell or 62-pound kettlebell, which gets your heart racing pretty fast, especially after doing the overhead landmine squats. Then moving into some abs. For the first ab exercise, doing this thing where I try to stay parallel to the floor and then kick one leg out at a time, really engaging the lower abs. So the abs have to stay engaged the whole way through to maintain that position. At the end, I'm also looking to contract the glutes to uh, try to keep my body straight, although I'm not doing a good job at it in the video. um and for the next exercise, doing windshield wipers but with a kick up in the middle. I'll show you what that means in a second. If you know what a windshield wiper is, it's when you have uh yeah, when you move your leg side to side. But yeah, whenever I come back to the middle, I'm doing a kick up, which is, I guess, a slight challenge on the lower abs and hip flexors, while the windshield wiper motion, so the rotation of the leg to either side, is more of a obliques exercise. But yeah, the audio comes back now.
So for the final set, I decided to up the difficulty a little. So while doing the windshield wipers, I'm going to do it while in a towel grip. So let's see how this plays out. Whew! Not bad. So my bus isn't coming for a while, which means I can do a quick physique update. I'm gonna keep the hat on for managing my hair. Came to the gym early today. There's a UFC pay-per-view on tonight. And I like watching those. Probably going to cook something nice. But by nice I mean some ground beef with cheese or something. Not anything too outlandish like sweets. I am pretty sore though, so my muscles seem a bit flat. So I might have some carbs today. Like an apple or two, maybe some potatoes. Let's try that on the other side. Ooh, not bad at all. But yeah, not looking too shabby. So in the sauna, I spent about 20 minutes. Took a 15-pound kettlebell with me. Did some tip raises with it. Did some ATG split squats. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just repeated those movements really slowly with long rest periods. The abs are starting to look really good. Still way too. Anyway, that's it for now. Going to catch the bus and head home. See you all tomorrow.